What's up, everyone? Mitchell here from the Caveman Corner, back with another episode 3. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Week 1 action, what happened in the past week of football, and most importantly for you guys, we're going to dump on ourselves because we both had a shitty week of betting. But I promise you, our loyal Caveman followers, we'll be back, we'll be strong. Week 2 will be better. We'll look at the betting for Week 2. Riley, what did you think of your Week 1 performance?
I mean, you're looking at the wrong thing, though. I have a 7-9 record Week 1, but I called out 2 money line predictions, being the Bengals and the Steelers, even going as far as saying the Steelers was my sell my soul bet of the week. And I even had written down on the sheet Bengals, but I didn't mention it aloud, but I did mention early on in the podcast. I mean, your sell my soul bet was the Ravens being -4, and that's got to be pretty embarrassing.
You know, I was going to go ahead and say it was when you have a bad game in football, as a couple former football players, what do they call those games? They called those, the wash away the tape, the burn the tape games. I was going to call a Week 1 a burn the tape game for both of us, but I see, you're proud of your 7-9 record. You clearly are an NFC East fan. You might actually win the division with that record. So all respect to you, Mr. NFC Beast Riley's.
Well, again, I also have my big dick bet of the week. If Chris Conley had another catch in his game, it would have been $10 into $750. But instead, I'm 1 catch, 3 yard shorts. A little heartbreaking, but I mean, I do have in store, wait for another big dick bet of the week, which I guarantee will, times 80 your money.
We'll get to that soon. It takes a true politician. I think you've got a future in politics, somehow finding a way to twist and turn this, whereas Week 1 somehow became a successful week. I think we got to take a second to talk about how the coin went and spanked us all over the floor. I guess, maybe I should just flip a coin before I make my bets from now on, because this guy went 8-8, actually had one more win than both of us.
It's pretty embarrassing.
The all-knowing knowledge. I will mention before we hop into the bets, we've heard your feedback, we've heard your opinions. There's no dictators here. There's no Kim Jong-uns. There's no there's no Roger Goodells. We'll talk closer to the mics. We promise to be better.
Yeah, a little embarrassing, but I mean that's why we're here, to get better. Anyways, anything else you want? I actually do have another note. I mean, I can't be the only one just completely bothered by these single-digit jersey numbers. I have to pretty much relearn every skill position now. It's pretty frustrating.
I will say there was a couple times on offense, I'm looking for a particular receiver, and they've completely changed their number, and it completely throws me off my game. I think, they've been doing it in college ball for a long time. I think it's just we're in an adjustment period right now.
Well, and that's the thing. Everyone just wants to go back to their college numbers.
Cavemen are creature of habits, right?
Exactly.
So we've been looking at these guys in their same 80s and 10s for years. When you see a guy wearing number 1, typically I would assume he's a punter at the NFL level, maybe a backup quarterback. So we're just getting used to these receivers wearing it like college ball over again, and we've got to, rewrite the memories on this one. Difficult for a couple boys like us.
Yeah, pretty much. I have to bring up this dictator comment you had earlier. Are you not trying to do the exact same thing with your take about Elijah Moore? I asked you if the receiving yard prop was 60 or more, would you take that? You said smash it. This guy ends up with 1 catch for -3 yards. How are you going to flip that into a positive today?
Well, clearly I said Week 1 was a burn the tape week.
All right. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at
that. But I did go. I'm glad you brought up Elijah Moore. I did go and I went back at Justin Jefferson's first 2 weeks from last season.
But he didn't start.
Well, he got in quite a bit. Finished one of the better receiving rookie seasons of all time. Week 1. Under 50 yards. Week 2, I think he had about 50, maybe 50 on the dot. So, didn't play well the first couple weeks.
So good.
Smashed after that.
Good to know. So one catch for -3 yards means he's going to have a Justin Jefferson season. It's a great extrapolation there. Another caveman word that we can't say properly.
I'm not even going to attempt to say it because I think too highly of myself. But I mean, with Elijah Moore, I've talked about it a little bit. Sometimes, when you don't know about a guy, you go to the guys who do know. And when you got guys like Odell Beckham and you got guys like A.J. Brown, if those guys are looking at you and saying, this is one of the best guys in the game, I'm going to trust those guys.
All right, fair enough.
Before we move on to Week 2, let's talk a little bit about, the newest award over here at the Caveman Corner. We look at guys, we scoured up and down the tape all across the league to pick the biggest caveman, our top player of the week. And of course, we had to settle on probably the game of the week, which was the Ravens and the Raiders. Let's just start with that game. How insane was that finish?
Pretty damn insane. Lamar pretty much threw away the game, and his pass blocking wasn't really doing much favors there.
Yeah, safe to say it doesn't help that he had our caveman winner of the week, Max Crosby, chasing him down. Absolutely hunting him down. You know what? Shout out to our boy Mike Mayock. We've been watching him since NFL Network. Might be fired this year with that power struggle with John Gruden. But God damn it, they found Max Crosby in the 4th round, and this guy's a beast.
Choked on Colin Farrell, completely reached on him, but end up with Max Crosby mid-round. Pretty damn ridiculous. I actually wanted to give a runner-up prize as well. I was thinking the Gay Caveman of the week, and I'm going to give that to my man, Carl Nassib.
I don't know how many openly homosexual players there are in the NFL, so maybe we're giving this award to him every week.
Yep, pretty much.
But, yeah.
Hey, man, there's definitely gay cavemen. If you don't think so, you know what I'm going to call you.
I've got nothing to say. But Max Crosby did a fantastic job. Huge snipe. I thought one of the funny things was, especially with ESPN, they love to bring out those sob stories and those side interest stories to keep the girlfriends and the wives.
Mentioning Darren Waller being on crack pretty much every week he plays.
Drink every time that Darren Waller or Max Crosby makes a play, and they tell you they used to be addicts. You'll be hammered within an hour. Trust me.
You'll have as much alcoholism as they did. All right, I think we might as well get it going. Start on our week 2 predictions. So first up, we got the Thursday night game, which is the New York Giants at the Washington football team, with Washington being -3 favorites in the game. So I actually went for the underdog pick this week. I think there's a lot of holes on this team, but they're going up against the backup quarterback, and they do have a lot of talent in the skill position. So I'm going with the Giants, the Giants, and you're going with the Giants as well. By the way, grab that coin. We need to. It's on the on the desk there.
We've got the coin, everyone. Don't worry. We've got the thing that's going to destroy us again.
Speaking of that, has your tune changed on Daniel Jones? I knew you said he was primed for a breakout season.
I thought it was the most Daniel Jones thing of all time to be having actually a pretty solid game against a tough Broncos defense. Decides to break off and scramble as only the white wonder, the fastest man in the NFL, Daniel Jones, can do. Fumbles the football. Typical Daniel Jones. He finished the game strong. This is another tough matchup for him. He's going to be missing Evan Ingram, but I do have that team covering. I think their defense is still really, really solid. Saquon Barkley, I think, is going to get a little bit more touches coming back from that ACL. And like you mentioned, I think Taylor Heineke actually looked pretty good, towards the latter end of last year. But, he wasn't the starter. It's a short week. It's the Thursday night game. I got the Giants to cover this. I think they played the Broncos tough. They're going to play the football team even tougher.
Yeah, Washington, obviously the pass rush worries me a lot, but this spread actually started off at -2.5 and moved up to -3, and that was the difference for me. I got to go Giants
over under 40. Not going to be low scoring on Thursday, folks.
Yeah, I'm going to flip the coin on this, and we got heads for home. So they're going.
God
the
damn
coin
it,
going.
the coin always knows.
Yeah, I'm honestly.
Is it too late to change my pick?
I'm thinking about it. Next up, we got Denver at Jacksonville. This is one where there's a lot of similarities you have this week. You did a couple last second changes, but this one again, I like the underdog in this situation. I think Jacksonville was very underwhelming in their first game. Trevor Lawrence could have those rookie quarterback jitters. I got to go Jacksonville on this. I think they're good enough to keep it within that 6-point margin. Denver defense, obviously top of the league. They're going to give them a lot of problems, but again, just 6 points is a lot of points for the Denver to have to cover there.
If Jacksonville loses this game, if Jacksonville's even down at half, how fast until Urban Meyer just completely leaves and takes that new USC job?
He'll find some sort of excuse.
Yeah, but I got Denver. I got Denver, winning by 6 or more because they went and put a beat down on the Giants last week. And I actually thought Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty damn good.
He did.
Of course, they're going to be missing Jerry Jeudy. I think KJ Hamler is a solid, not spectacular replacement.
Tim Patrick.
Yeah, Tim Patrick makes plays. It's still a very solid cast around him, and I still love that defense. It looks like Patrick Surtain's going to be forced into a starting role now with an injury on the defense. I think they're. I don't like what I saw out of Jacksonville in Week 1. I had them, beating the Texans by that set amount, and they went and fucked me. And I'll tell you what, fool me once, shame on me. George Bush said, "Fool me once, fool me twice." I can't. I screwed up the George Bush quote, which even makes it that much more perfect.
Well, listen to your J. Cole.
I screwed up the screw up. So yes, I'm taking Denver here.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see what the coin says. I do also want to mention.
Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Another home. So thank God the coin agrees with me. Again, though, I think as long as Teddy Bridgewater just plays mistake-free football, lets his Denver defense do the trick, then they'll be just fine. Next up, we have New Orleans at Carolina, and New Orleans is favored by 2.5. So this one, it was actually pretty tough for me because it started off -3.5 for New Orleans, and then went all the way down to 2.5. So again, I know that probably means a lot of people are going for the Panthers in this, but -2.5 for the Saints is just too good. Jameis Winston looked great in his first game. I mean, only 20.
Pause for a second.
20 passes, 5 touchdowns.
Pause for a second. Jameis Winston looked good. He's on pace. Hold on. He's on pace for 85 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jameis Winston looks like the greatest quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
Well, if we're gonna extrapolate then that means that Elijah Mitchell ends up with, I think, -24 yards in the entire season or something.
Stop trying to take away from what Jameis Winston did. Jameis Winston with LASIK eye surgery is Dan Marino, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning put together. But he does better off-season workouts.
Yeah, I love it.
As I say that, I'm going to backtrack a little bit as I took Carolina to actually cover this spread here. Thought they looked good Week 1 against the Jets. I know the Jets are a bit of a slapdick opponent. But you also got some things going on up with our New Orleans. They're missing Davenport on the defensive line. Lattimore's going to miss a few weeks after signing that big contract. I think I don't know. I think they overachieved a little bit Week 1. Green Bay obviously looked like dog shit. The Saints kind of proved me wrong. But you know what? A take is never wrong if you don't back off the take. I got the Saints losing. Or not losing this game. I got them at least covering that spread.
Oh, good for you, because I think you had them as a 5-win team throughout the entire year.
The take is not wrong if you never back off the take.
Burn the sheet. Flip the coin. We got tails away. So the coin disagrees with Mitchell again. That's got to be worrisome.
Fuck the coin.
Yeah, honestly, it'll make you eat your words.
The coin's gonna haunt me in my sleep and beat me down with a full pillow as I try to lay awake.
Pillow full of bars of soap.
Exactly.
Next up, we got the Rams at Indianapolis. This is -3.5 for the Rams. I haven't been mentioning the over/under, but you'll see that in the screen if you're watching on YouTube. I'll actually start doing that now. The over/under set at 47.5. I actually have the Colts covering the spread, and Mitchell has the Rams. So you can go first. Explain your reasoning.
Yeah, typically, you let the best go first. So I'll jump it off here. I thought the Rams
save the best for last.
No. I mean tomato. I thought the Rams, obviously kicked the shit out of the sad sack Bears, led by my poor redhead Andy Dalton, who just took a beating out there. It was awesome.
Did you see the cucked look on Andy Dalton's face as Justin Fields went in and got his touchdown?
I think, the Red Rocket Andy Dalton's a good teammate. I think obviously Fields is the future. Fields is gonna see the field soon. Haha.
It's only a matter of time before Fields starts fucking Dalton's girl.
I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to support this content at all. But yeah, I thought it was awesome to see Matt Stafford go from Detroit, who's kind of a flaming pile of shit, and burned away the careers of Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders, to see him go to L.A. where he's slinging it, gunning it, bombing it, and really just kicking the shit out of teams on Sunday night. Not many Sunday night games when you're playing for the Lions. I've got the Rams to win this. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and I think they'll win by that amount because I don't like Indy right now. I didn't think Wentz looked great last week.
Definitely
don't love their offense. I think their defense is good, but not good enough necessarily. I mean, Seattle showed that they could be beat.
I thought Colts were going to have one of the best offensive lines in the league. I mean, sure, the run offense is looking pretty good, but I think Carson Wentz was actually hit 12 times in dropbacks, like the most in the entire league in the Week 1.
Quit spinning around in the pocket every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goddamn happy feet. Eagle fans have known this for years.
He's got Brucey at receiver. No one's getting open. But, for me, I think Colts underperformed in Week 1, and I think 3.5 is just a generous and the coin's going to agree with me. Heads for home. The coin disagrees with Mitchell yet again. So you could either be making up ground on us, or you're pretty much hitting the pit of doom.
I've got a bone to pick with that coin.
It's definitely a faulty coin. Goes heads every time.
This guy's flipping a two-faced coin that goes on the same side every time.
Shout out Dark Knight. Next up, we got Houston at Cleveland, with Cleveland being negative 12.5 favorites, and the over/under set at 48. For me, again, I guess you agree with me too. Houston, they don't look as bad as we think, and especially, I was praising him last week. Tyrod Taylor isn't as bad as people think. I think he's a veteran quarterback. He offers that rushing attack or the ability with his legs as well, and I think he's good enough to keep it within this 12.5 point spread. Cleveland also looked very good against the Chiefs, kind of choked late, but I don't know. I just think 12.5 is very tough, and Houston's one of those teams, kind of like Detroit. I could see them getting that last-second garbage time touchdown and just reach the marker.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's a fucking wagon. I think, as I said, they looked great last week. Like you said, they didn't win the game, but it's
kind of choked.
The Chiefs choke in the first game of the regular season. I guess if you want to label it that way. I think the Browns look really good. The Chiefs are just an absolute stacked team, and it kind of showed, right? At the end of the day, talent prevailed in that game. I still love Cleveland, still love how they built the team. Having said that, I don't want to put too much stock into Houston winning week one. The Jags were a one-win team last year. Until proven that they can win games, I probably shouldn't have taken them to beat Houston by what I did. That's why we burned the tape to never speak of it again. But yeah, I think Houston can cover that 12.5 as good as Cleveland is. I don't think they're good enough to win by that amount in this game. Tyrod Taylor did look good. I'll give him that. Kind of those journeyman quarterbacks, with a little bit of that scrambling ability. Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, both look good. Curious to see how that continues, but I'll take Houston to cover this.
Yeah, we're agreeing here. This could be a big fuck you to us as the coin goes with Cleveland here.
Me and the coin never see eye to eye, so.
The coin agrees. It's kind of boring. All right.
The coin agreeing with me is the best content you could have.
I was actually thinking too. This is one of those games. I think 48 points for the over/under. I know it's the not fun thing to do, but that looks like an under to me. I'm actually going to seriously consider betting the under or parlaying it with.
I'm surprised they have the point total that high. Mark Ingram is getting 27 carries a game. I think Cleveland's defense is better than that.
It's the same with and
God damn it, Vegas knows best.
Yeah, Cleveland is going to run the rock. They're proven to do that. If they get a good lead, they're just going to continue to run the football. Just worth noting that under. Next up, we got Las Vegas at Pittsburgh, with Pittsburgh being negative 5.5 point favorites, and the over/under set at 47 points. This is another one where we disagree on. I got Las Vegas, and you have Pittsburgh. I chose Las Vegas against Baltimore. They brought me the money. I got to do it again versus Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh was underdogs in the first game, and I won money off them as well. But I think Las Vegas is not as good as people are giving them credit for. And I think when it comes to their strength of their defense,
they're better than people are giving them credit for?
Yeah, caveman speech, right?
Yeah, it is what it is.
But I think the strength of their team is going to be their pass rush. And Pittsburgh just has an abysmal offensive line. They're not going to be able to protect Big Ben, and Big Ben just can't evade the rush anymore. He just needs to deliver the ball within a second or he's screwed.
You know how in the Marvel universe there's, they're doing the big multiverse thing right now and there's these alternate dimensions? I feel like we're living in an alternate dimension if we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders having a good pass rush.
Seems pretty wild, but it's all Max Crosby, man.
This is where we're at. They went from, I think in the past 5 years, having the least sacks in the league by far to all of a sudden Max Crosby just absolutely slapping around guys. Caveman of the week in him. But it's cool to see them improving there. I think Pittsburgh can cover this. I think they went and beat the Bills last week, who I actually have winning the Super Bowl. I see it tough. I mean, the Raiders last year kind of did the same thing, right? Where they would beat the Chiefs, and then they would lose to the Falcons by 30. They don't make a lot of sense. I think they're an extremely well-coached team, but I still think they're a bit talent deficient. Maybe I end up looking like an idiot here. I mean, I got egg on my face last week when I took them as my bet of the week to lose by more than 4. But I'm going to double down on this because, again, I'll go back to a take is never wrong if you never back off. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win this by 6.5 or more.
All right. See what the coin says. The coin heads for Pittsburgh as well. Next up, we have my New England Patriots at the New York Jets with the over-under set at a very low 42 points. I think this is the second lowest total of the week. Yeah.
This is the snoozer of the week.
Snoozer of the week. Well, I'm going to go right into it. This is the perfect time to announce my big dick bet of the week. I actually have New England money line parlayed with Mac Jones under 244.5 passing yards, under 21.5 completions, and Damian Harris over 94.6 rushing yards. I'm also thinking about adding in Damian Harris anytime touchdown or Mac Jones under 1.5 passing touchdowns. And also I'm thinking about the unders on Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith as well. But another crazy bet, but it's just one of those games where I think New England's going to absolutely run all over the Jets. I think they're going to lean on the rushing attack, and Mac Jones isn't going to have to do too much. You look at it last week, and even though Patriots lost that game, they kind of lost it themselves. They were running all over the Dolphins, but they shot themselves in the foot and turned over the ball 2 times. It was Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris who both fumbled, and that cost us the game. I'm all credit to the Dolphins. They greased it out for sure, but I think Bill Belichick is probably going to put like 8 rolls of tape on Damian Harris and smack the shit out of them like they did in Friday Night Lights with that guy. Maybe I'll include a clip on YouTube so you can see, but I mean, it's just unacceptable. New England's they play turnover-free football. They control the clock, and that's why the over-under set at where it is. I think this is just they churn out the run game, and Jets are just going to get trampled.
Can you hear the passion from this clearly biased New England
And
fan?
not to mention, when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, Bill Belichick is an absolute demon. You can look at even Justin Herbert. He was just demolishing everyone last year. And against a lesser defense than New England is right now, they pretty much demolished Justin Herbert and cooled off his fire. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about bias here.
Can I get a chance to speak, sir? You've been talking about New England for 3 minutes. I think it's more likely that we find Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson locked away and blasted off to Cuba somewhere, and he runs to LeGarrette Blount this game. Then they get all these carries.
Bring back Jonas Gray.
I think Bill Belichick hates fumbling more than anyone in the world could hate any one thing. But yeah, I agree with you. I think New England's definitely going to win this game. They clearly have. I saw a record where he's something like 24-2 or 24-1 against rookie quarterbacks. Oh, guess what? Jets got Zach Wilson. I like Zach Wilson. I like what they're doing there. I've said it once. I've said it again. They'll lose the game, but they'll keep it tight. If you're not having Christian McCaffrey run all over you, I don't think you're going to have J.J. Taylor and Damian Harris. Which no disrespect to those guys. I don't think they're going to put up 200 on you. Taking New England to win the game, taking the Jets to cover.
How do you like that Damian Harris prop, though? 64.6 rushing yards.
I don't know what the hell to think about that prop because I don't know if, like I said, he might be blasted off
he dropped near the... Yeah, fair.
If we find Damian Harris dead on a highway somewhere, we know who did it.
All right, see what the coin says? Heads. The coin went to Jets. Wait, you got the Jets, huh?
I took the Jets, good sir.
You're an absolute maniac. I mean, it's actually pretty close. Like 6, I was surprised New England got that as a spread. All right, next up we have San Fran at Philly, with San Fran being negative 3.5 point favorites and the over-under set at 50. This is another one I'll say right off the bat, under 50. Like this is one that I'm probably the most confident when it comes to the under. Again, I know under is the boring thing to do, but it's just I'm surprised that this game is with which seems like a heavy rushing game script is going to have this type of over-under. Maybe Vegas is going to laugh in my face when I get this wrong, but it is what it is. Next, we both chose San Fran in this one. I think we're both saying that Philly's a little overrated after that week 1 trampling of your Atlanta Falcons, and San Fran probably a little underrated after Detroit kind of came back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on the Falcons later. The Falcons historically are a shit week 1 team, and they did not do well, to say the least. I think Philly's got a filthy front 7 on defense, and their pass rush showed. But I think San Fran has a better O-line, and they got a built-in system there with Kyle Shanahan that they've shown it clearly worked. Only San Fran could bench what people thought to be their starting running back Trey Sermon and their starting receiver Brandon Ayuk, and still just kick the shit out of the other team. So, I like what they're doing. Elijah Mitchell looks like he's going to be explosive. if anyone is a fantasy football guy, I think everybody in the world was spending, all their money to get him. And the hilarious part is, who would really be surprised if Kyle Shanahan gave JaMychal Hasty, 25 carries next game?
As a Raheem Mostert dynasty owner, I would not be shocked at all.
Yeah, I just that is what it is with the Shanahan system. He makes it work whoever the running back is. But I do think they're gonna give Philly a little bit of the business here, put them back in true NFC East fashion. They will go to 1-1 before going to 1-2. That's just how it works there. But yeah, I got San Fran to win this and cover that spread.
Yeah, and I do have to mention that all respect to Kyle Shanahan, because there's some coaches that will invest money or draft capital into a running back and then just feel obligated to start them. If you think you have the better guy that you're starting, fucking go for it.
Jalen Hurts also played great, so shout out to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
Against Atlanta, though, so it doesn't count.
We got heads, so the coin went Philly. Love to see it. We need to make up some wins on this coin. Perfect chance right there. Next up, we have Buffalo at Miami, with Buffalo being negative 3-point favorites, and the over-under set at 47.5. Say it right off the bat, and we're two Buffalo fans here, kinda. I have Buffalo, you have Buffalo.
I'm simply a fan of throwing people through tables.
Yeah, I mean, -3 just seems crazy, man. I know they had an awful Week 1 game, but this is just a crazy line to me for a team with just one of the best rosters on paper.
I think the reason you're seeing it tight, it's a division game. Division games are typically tight. Buffalo looked like shit in Week 1, but I think that Pittsburgh defense could be legit, man.
What, you mean Miami?
Did I say no? I'm talking last week. They played Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That Pittsburgh defense is legit. So when you had Buffalo's offense looking bad, I don't really want to discredit Buffalo. Some of that's off-season rust. Some of that is they're playing against an absolute stacked defense. So they're going to come back. Miami's defense is solid, not quite Pittsburgh level.
Not even close.
I think Buffalo gets it back on track, and I think we're going to be circling the wagon soon. Let's just say that.
See, maybe my Patriots bias coming in, but I just don't think Miami's that good. I think Patriots shot themselves in their foot, and Buffalo is a way better team than the Patriots, I'd assume. I say Buffalo.
Did Tua Tagovailoa, dislike your IG page? You sure have a lot of hate for these Dolphins.
Well, I just think he's trash. We'll see what the coin says. The coin, does he think Tua's nice?
Heads.
They're going Miami. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
It's because Tua was not put on the SOG football top 10 rising quarterbacks and unfollowed the channel, so we pick against them from now on.
Bastard. Next up, we have Cincinnati at Chicago, with Chicago being -1 point favorites, and the over-under set at 45. And it's worth mentioning that Chicago started off -3, but the spread went all the way back down to -1, which leads me to believe I got to go Chicago in this one. I suggested as one of my sell my soul bets of having Cincinnati money line last week, but I just think they overperformed. I think Chicago underperformed. And again, I hope Justin Fields gets in, because I think he's the better quarterback.
I think you're saying too many words to describe the obvious reason that Chicago is going to win this. Andy Dalton, revenge game. The redhead going against the ginger team, the Bengals. Much like Sam Darnold exacted revenge against his Jets last week, Andy Dalton rolls into, not Cincinnati, but into Chicago, home field advantage, and is going to shred those Bengals. Throwing off the the doubters and the ones who want Fields in for at least one more week.
Andy Dalton will finish the game with 250 passing yards and 0 touchdowns, because Justin Fields will have 2 rushes for 5 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I disagree. I'm all on the Andy Dalton bandwagon. I'm a huge narrative guy, and I'm buying the narrative.
All right. We're going tails. So Cincinnati, the coin just disagreeing with us again.
The coin doesn't know anything about narratives.
Yeah, the coin doesn't watch football. I mean, that's why you can make those ridiculous Week 1 bets. So next up, we have Minnesota at Arizona, with Arizona being -3.5 point favorites. Another spread that moved from -4.5 for Arizona to -3.5. It still wasn't enough for me. I think I have to go with Minnesota in this one. Worth mentioning also, this is another one where I'm thinking under on this game. 51 point over-under. Another crazy one for me. I don't see it being like that. I think Arizona runs a pretty high-tempo offense, but it's just 51 seems like a crazy margin to me.
I get it. They both have strong offenses. It makes sense.
I guess. But I have Minnesota plus 3.5, the underdog.
All right, so here's where I'm at. I'm a victim of short memory. If we're using our long-term memory, we will recall that I had Arizona finishing last.
I thought you were going to make a short joke for Kyler Murray.
I'm getting there. Maybe that was the better route to take it. If you remember the long-term memory, I had Arizona missing the division, missing the playoffs. But my short-term memory tells me this is the greatest team of all time and the best defense since the '85 Bears. So I called J.J. Watt washed. I'm saying it officially. He's the greatest defensive end of all time. Chandler Jones obviously went out and killed it week one. I think it was... What's his name? Taylor Lewan got absolutely beaten.
But he owned up to it on Twitter, which I have to respect.
What's the there's the meme where the guy where he's super small and super big. So that's Taylor Lewan with steroids versus without steroids. This guy got popped for PEDs, comes back and gets bitched around the fucking O-line. But
you haven't seen a fall off a cliff since Sean Merriman.
It's absolute beatdown. Love what Arizona's doing on offense. I actually picked Minnesota to finish very well this year, but I think they're running into a juggernaut this week, and my short-term memory tells me to take Arizona.
I mean, I'm not one to victory lap, but I will victory lap on this. I said for the first time in NFL history, every single team from the NFC West is going to make the playoffs. That prediction's looking better than ever this week, right? It's
that little leprechaun Kyler Murray running around out there. He had some legitimate Madden.
He's fast, real fast.
He had some legitimate Madden plays last week where he was going left, right, left, right, left, left, left. Ooh, throws it and somehow completes it.
This guy's got the GTA cheat codes.
He's got his finger stuck on the right trigger button and doesn't know to take it off.
All right, Coin agrees with me. Tails for Minnesota. Next up, it's going to be great to talk about this slapdick team, the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the Bucks being favored by negative 12.5 and the over-under set at 52. I mean, I hate to do it, but I have to go with your Atlanta Falcons. Again, those negative 12.5, the 12.5 spreads are so hard to cover for the favorite. I think that Atlanta, while they are a shit team, are not that bad. When it comes to a division game, anything can happen, which also leads me to what I think is one of my favorite bets of the week, which is betting Atlanta money line with 480, so you could turn $10 into $48 by betting Atlanta.
I mean, this is where I'm at. I said last week when I picked Atlanta to beat, not only to beat Philly, but to cover that spread, I said, Atlanta loves one thing more than winning games, and that's breaking, their fans' heart, including mine. That happened week one. They completely walked out there, and I think everyone looked like they had two left feet, shit the bed. O-line was absolutely punked.
The defense, oh my God.
It was rough to watch. My guy Matt Ryan all over the floor. Wasn't able to get the ball to our new draft pick Kyle Pitts.
Calvin Ridley.
What was really hilarious was we were watching the game and they just drove down the field on the first two drives. Twice in the red zone, weren't able to finish, and then they never progressed the ball again. It just was not happening. So we'll see. We'll see if Arthur Smith, big brain Arthur Smith, can make some adjustments. The funny thing is about Tampa, right? Like, as much as they won the Super Bowl last year, they actually only beat Atlanta by 3 in the first game, and it's probably a game they should have lost. Atlanta, as usual, blew it. And in the second game, Atlanta was leading at half, and then, again, just kind of went and got smashed. I think they ended up losing by 10 or 14. But typically, like you said, it's a division game. Atlanta's going to play them tight. I don't have the cojones to call it a win, but absolutely I'm taking the Falcons to cover. I think it could happen. It should happen. Division game. We'll see where it goes from here.
Well, I mean, my projections actually had Atlanta's probability of winning at about 22%. Would you say that's about fair?
22%. I mean, yeah, maybe that's about fair. Division game, anything could happen. It's tough to be confident after you went and saw what happened last week against a team that's not as good as the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, my projection guy never fails, so I'll continue to trust him. The dude's got Asperger's. That's as trustworthy as you can.
I'm going to go into this game excited. I'm going to watch the first drive, and I'm going to turn it off and cry.
Yeah, probably. All right, the coin. Tails for the coin. So, coin agrees with us, Atlanta. Boring coin. All right, next up we have the Tennessee Titans at the Seattle Seahawks, with the Seahawks being favored by negative 5.5 and the over-under set at 54. Another one, boring. We agree on it. We both have Tennessee winning this. Not winning this, covering the spread. Another game where I just don't fall into the week one overreaction. While I do think the Seahawks are going to be one of the best teams in the NFC, I also think the Tennessee Titans are not getting enough love. I think that their offense just was not moving. Their defense couldn't stop anything. And while I think there's a lot of holes this team needs to fix or fill, I just think they're good enough to cover this 5.5-point spread.
Do we send Arthur Smith back to Tennessee for Julio Jones and see if the offenses both get better again?
They probably would too. I mean, Derrick Henry couldn't do a thing either, which
it's gonna take some adjusting, right? I mean, they're trying to get off that run-centric approach. They're trying to go more, Julio Jones, trying to go more A.J. Brown. They ended up going more Chester Rogers last game, which doesn't make much sense.
Interesting.
But it's Tannehill trying to figure it out, right? It's a
Thank
new
God.
system, new receivers around him. They're getting used to this new approach. Seattle was fucking great last week. Mr. Unlimited. Russ Wilson went and lit up the Colts, who are supposed to be one of the better defenses in the league. Tennessee's defense won't pose a problem. I do think they're going to give him some different looks so he won't really run all over him or pass all over him like it's happened before. And I just think their offense has to pick up in Tennessee, so I got them to cover. And if they don't cover this game, they got to start being really worried.
Yeah, I mean, it's also thank God for Ryan Tannehill and Taylor Lewan. Seattle Seahawks do not have a Chandler Jones, so... I mean,
front seven looked better than expected last game. They put some pressure up on those Colts.
Better than expected, but I'm saying not to the caliber of the Cardinals. We'll see what the coin says. Tails, so the coin also has Tennessee, just this coin being a sheep. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Los Angeles Chargers, with the Chargers being favored by -3.5, and the over-under set at 55.5. This is another over-under where I'm thinking it's just a crazy amount. I think I might actually go under on this. But I'd say the two I mentioned before I'm more confident with. I have Dallas to cover the spread, and you have Dallas to cover the spread, so at +3.5. You want to go ahead and talk why?
Well, I mean, Dallas went and put on a show in week one, right? I think nobody really gave them a chance against Tampa Bay, and really, arguably, they probably should have won that game, right? A little field goal happened at the end that maybe shouldn't have happened, but Dallas looked great. So what's happening now? Yeah, they're returning Zach Martin off the COVID list. Of course, some news comes out today, which is going to hurt fans. They lose DeMarcus Lawrence for a few weeks. They lost Randy Gregory, who fucking never plays.
Lyle Collins.
Lael Collins, who's on the Taylor Lewan stuff, the Michael special stuff from Space Jam, not playing. But I think getting Zach Martin back is going to be huge. The other thing being, that team's at its best when they use a balanced approach, when they can run and pass. I mean, this isn't the Tampa Bay Bucks defense that they're playing. That's the best rush D in the league, and it's been for a few years. Chargers defense is good. It's not that good. I think Dallas can not only cover, I think they can win. So got Dallas taking this.
I'd agree with that. I'm actually not confident enough in this one to go money line because I think the Chargers are also a really good team.
It's pretty much a pick 'em, right? It's a -1.
But I think it's worth mentioning that I don't think Dallas deserved to win that game. If you remember, there was 2 Tom Brady picks that were thrown that neither were his fault. It was another one where it's just easy routine catch that Lenny dropped. And
we are trying to talk about
but I'm just saying
this guy wants to defend Tom Brady.
When you're looking at a volatile stat, I mean, for really good defenses, not so much, but those turnovers you couldn't have predicted those. Just routine plays that went in the Cowboys' hands. I think the Bucks outplayed them more than you'd think. So I did pick Dallas, but I'm just saying tread carefully with this one. Coin. Tails. Fucking coin. Boring ass coin. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, -3.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, Chiefs are favored at 3.5 with the over/under set at 55. This is one finally we disagree on. I have Baltimore covering. I think that they're going to come with a vengeance. I believe that it's a case of I still think they're a better team than the Raiders. It just wasn't their night. I believe they'll play the Chiefs tough, and I was tempted to even bet Baltimore straight up. But I think this is going to be Lamar Jackson's revenge. Well, not revenge game. He's just going to avenge his shitty Week 1 performance, and they're going to do enough to cover that spread.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are obviously still a really strong team. They're still a playoff team. I think with a team like the Chiefs, they're so good. They have a tendency to get complacent sometimes. This isn't a game they're going to be complacent. They know they're playing against a top dog in the AFC. They're going to bring it. And still with all those injuries to the Ravens, I think they're trying to figure it out right now. Not fully healthy receiver, not fully healthy running back, losing guys in the secondary. They're still trying to get a wrap around what's going on. I think they lose this one before picking it back up. I think I got the Chiefs to win by more than 5.5. My God, Patrick Mahomes looks good in MVP form again. I got him taking this one.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mahomes.
This will be a fun game to watch too, right? Over under 55.
Yeah, and this is the Sunday nighter, so I mean, everyone's going to be watching, and I will be betting some money. I was going to mention something, but I believe I completely forgot.
Very good point, SOG football.
Yeah. Well, might as well flip the coin then.
That's why the fans
Heads.
love us, the high-level analysis and content from SOG football.
Hey, cavemen don't have good memories. It's a fact. And then we have the Monday nighter, which is Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers, with the Packers being favored at 11. See, I picked Detroit. I called it exactly last week where I said they were going to have that last-minute greasy touchdown to cover the spread. I think it's going to be a similar thing this week. I think maybe the final 2-3 minutes of the game, they're going to be down over 2 scores, and then they're just going to have that greasy garbage time touchdown. And then people are going to say, Jared Goff's not that bad, is he? And Detroit covers.
What did Dan Campbell promise the fans and the people before the season?
I mean, something about biting kneecaps. I forget what else.
This son of a bitch actually did it. Raheem Mostert out for the year with a broken kneecap.
Within, the first series he was in, too.
My God, he actually did it. Dan Campbell's coaching these boys up well. I mean, they obviously made that run towards the end of last game. I think San Fran took their foot off the pedal a little bit. You'd think Kyle Shanahan would have learned from that Super Bowl not to do that. But yeah, I think Green Bay is going to do, Aaron Rodgers loves to say his relax. He's going to come out with an absolute vengeance this game. I think Detroit's secondary is weak, whereas New Orleans maybe wasn't so much. Green Bay is going to pass the football all over them. I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 30.
Yeah, I mean, if you own Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams in fantasy football, you have nothing to worry about.
The ultimate revenge game. They are going to... Aaron Rodgers is probably the most spiteful guy in the world, and nobody loves their stats more than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I guess
he's going to run the score up. They're not going to stop scoring.
So this is the perfect time to segue into your sell my soul bet of the week.
Pew, 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 pew. I'm going with Green Bay. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. I think if, the coach there even tries to take him out, Aaron Rodgers will tell him to fuck off. He wants his. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy threw for 9 touchdown passes. He's trying to break records this game.
All right, well, I mean, I might as well give my 2 sell my soul bets from this week. Last week, I killed it with the call on the Bengals and the Steelers. This week, I'm going with Atlanta plus 12.5 and New England money line. It's crazy that I chose Atlanta as one of my sell my soul bets and you did not. Too much heartbreak.
As a Falcons fan, I understand you can never fully put your trust in this team. There's only one thing with Atlanta: don't trust them. Any final, thoughts on the Week 1 slate? Any final thoughts on the Week 2 coming ahead?
If the Patriots lose to the Jets, I may be on suicide watch.
You should be on suicide watch anyway because you've clearly got a speech impediment and screwed up half the things you said today. But I think my final
Did you just screw up saying impediment?
I did my best. I think one of the final...
Pretty ironic.
One of the final thoughts I would like to leave... How hilarious was it that in crunch time, the Oakland Raiders were every third down when they weren't throwing to Darren Waller, it seemed to be Hunter Renfrow that they were going to.
I love it.
I think one of the funniest things was he ran that little triple move, the in-out-up move. Classic. Gets absolutely roasted the DB, grabs him. And I think there's a big thing going on right now with the NFL where the NFL or the Raiders are trying to get the NFL to launch an investigation into late hits on the great Hunter Renfrow.
That actually happened? I didn't see that.
It's a big thing going on right now. The Raiders want revenge.
Oh, man.
I mean, looking forward to this week, too. I don't think it's going to be a great Thursday game. I like the Sunday slate. The Sunday nighter is going to be a lot of fun. We burned the tape from last week. We're biting kneecaps this week. Hope to pick up our records. I know Riley was 7-9 and still very proud, but we'll do better for the fans.
I mean, the ones I actually bet, though, that's all that counts. It's worth mentioning. I'll probably do the same, and this is actually what I forgot to say. If the Chiefs end up letting the Ravens score on the first series, I might just look at the line there and just bet on them. Like I did that last week when the Browns scored, and then I ended up getting a better spread, and the Chiefs ended up winning.
Hey, I'm a big mid game better. That's my hobby. That's my big hobby. Never pregame bet, always mid game bet.
For all the boys, then, if Baltimore scores and then Chiefs become underdogs, I mean, I'm jumping in on that. Anyways, yeah, I mean, again, not the greatest Thursday game, but I'm excited for a lot of these Sunday slate games. I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate everyone listening. If you can, leave a 5-star review, comment on YouTube, do anything you can to support the podcast. Appreciate you guys, and talk to you later.
Enjoy the games, folks.
Peace.